Let's be honest for a second. Most of us are drowning in to-do lists, constantly tired, and secretly terrified that we're wasting our potential. We scroll through social media looking for that one magical productivity hack, only to end up more overwhelmed than before. But what if the problem isn't your lack of willpower? What if you're just trying to build a house without a foundation? I used to think being productive meant working 14 hours a day until I hit total burnout. Then I realized something. The most successful, peaceful people don't work harder. They just have a better mental operating system. Today, we aren't just looking at a random list of books. We're building a step-by-step productivity stack. A specific sequence of 10 books that take you from feeling completely stuck to building an automated, high-leverage life. If you've been looking for a sign to finally get your life together, this is it. Let's start with level 1. Fixing your foundation. If you're trying to change your life, you have to start here. Most people think they need a massive life overhaul to see results. But James Clear explains in Atomic Habits that true transformation comes from tiny improvements every day. The biggest takeaway from this book is a phrase that changed how I look at everything. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. If you want to write a book, the goal doesn't matter if your daily system for sitting at your desk is broken. It breaks down habit formation into 4 simple steps. Make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying. It's the ultimate guide to automating your daily behavior so you stop fighting with your own brain. Now that your habits are starting to click, you need to learn how to direct your focus. That's where Cal Newport comes in with deep work. In today's world, we are constantly bombarded by notifications, emails, and short-form pings. Newport calls this shallow work. It makes you feel busy, but it doesn't move the needle. Deep work is the rare and valuable ability to focus without distraction on a cognitively demanding task. It's a literal superpower in the modern economy. Newport doesn't just tell you to put your phone away. He gives you a practical framework to train your brain's attention span like a muscle. If you want to produce work that actually matters, you need to learn how to go deep. So, your habits are forming and you know how to focus. But what happens when life throws 50 different tasks at you at once? You get overwhelmed. Enter David Allen's classic guide to time management systems, Getting Things Done. His core philosophy is simple. Your brain is for having ideas, not storing them. Think about how much mental energy you waste just trying to remember to buy milk, reply to that email, and pay that bill. This framework teaches you how to capture everything out of your head and into an external second brain system. Once your mind trusts that your system is handling the details, the anxiety vanishes, leaving you free to actually execute. But wait, once you have an efficient system, you'll realize you can't do everything. And you shouldn't. That's why the next step in our stack is Essentialism by McKeown. McKeown argues that modern productivity culture is lying to us. We're told we can have it all and do it all. Instead, Essentialism is about the disciplined pursuit of less. It forces you to ask, what is the absolute most valuable thing I should be doing right now, and how do I ruthlessly eliminate everything else? It stops you from spreading your energy a millimeter thin in a million different directions, and helps you make a massive impact in the one area that truly matters to you. Now let's get highly strategic. If you've ever felt like you're putting in massive effort but getting tiny results, you are violating a fundamental rule of behavioral psychology. In the 80-20 principle, Richard Koch explores how of your 80% results come from just 20% of your efforts. This isn't just a business rule. It's a lifestyle truth. This book trains your mind to look for the disproportionate leverage points in your life. Which of your tasks are generating the most progress? Which of your relationships bring you the most happiness? Once you identify them, you can double down on what works and cut out the noise. But let's pause for a second. A lot of productivity advice can feel cold, mechanical, and frankly a bit miserable. That's why the next book in our sequence is a breath of fresh air. Feel Good Productivity by Ali Abdaal. Ali turns traditional hustle culture on its head. Using a mountain of psychological research, he shows that success doesn't come from disciplined misery. It comes from joy. When you find ways to make your work feel good, procrastination naturally begins to fade away. It's an essential read to make sure that while you're building your dream life, you aren't destroying your mental health along the way. At this point in the stack, your day-to-day life is organized. Now, we need to apply this productivity to your financial literacy and wealth mindset. The Almanac of Naval Ravikant is a masterclass in modern mindset shifts. Naval explains that true wealth isn't about grinding out 80-hour workweeks anymore. It's about accountability, unique knowledge, and most importantly, leverage. In the digital age, you want to earn with your mind, not your time. This book teaches you how to make high-quality decisions so your judgment does the heavy lifting, rather than your physical labor. To back up that leverage, you need to understand your own behavior. Morgan Housel's masterpiece, The Psychology of Money, reminds us that doing well with money isn't about how smart you are. It's about how you behave. This book contains 19 short stories that reveal the psychological biases we all have toward risk, greed, and satisfaction. Financial productivity isn't just about accumulating a number in a bank account. It's about buying back your time. As Housel beautifully puts it, the highest form of wealth is the ability to wake up every single morning and say, I can do whatever I want today. As we near the top of our stack, we bring everything back down to immediate action. The One Thing by Gary Keller asks you a beautifully simple question every single day. What's the one thing you can do right now, such that by doing it, everything else will become easier or completely unnecessary? It's the ultimate antidote to multitasking. When you look at your massive vision for your life, this book gives you the practical tools to sequence your choices, so that knocking down the first small task eventually topples a massive goal. And finally, the ultimate reality check to close out our journey. The title refers to the average lifespan of a human being, roughly 4,000 weeks. Oliver Burkeman delivers a profound philosophical wrap-up to the concept of time management. He argues that modern hacks are a bit of a trap. They make us feel like if we just work faster, we can finally control time and do everything. But you can't. This book kindly encourages you to accept your limitations. When you accept that you can't do everything, you stop worrying about it, choose a few meaningful things to care about, and actually start living. Building this personal development stack isn't about reading all 10 of these in a single weekend. It's about taking it one step at a time. Start with atomic habits to get your daily routines locked in. Then move your way up the stack as your systems grow. And hey, here's a quick tip if you want to make this knowledge stick. Pick just one tiny concept from whichever book resonated with you the most today, and try it out tomorrow. Don't worry about perfecting the whole system right away. Just focus on that next small step. Now, building the perfect routine is only half the battle. If you're ready to take the next step in your personal development journey, click on the video on your screen right now. Let's keep building. I'll see you there.